What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I want to go over, is it time for you to buy yourself a Toyota Tacoma? Whether you're looking for your first truck ever or you're buying another one just like I did, should you go new or used? That is the topic for today's video, so comment down below what do you think, but hopefully I can give you enough information to make the best possible choice. So to go in a little bit of history before we jump into today's topic about my Tacoma ownership and why I'm making this video. So this is my second Tacoma, and I want to make this video because I feel like I have a good amount of information on the Tacomas. To me, I think it's the best mid-size truck out there, which is a whole nother topic. But my first Tacoma ever was a 2007. It was the XSP model that they only made in 2007 and 2008. I got that truck brand new. It was around $32,000, and I had that truck for 8 amazing years. It was the best truck that I could possibly have for the time that I had it. And unfortunately, I did have to sell it or get rid of it. I racked up 80,000 miles on that truck and was able to get around $18,500 for it. I did trade it in. I probably could have got a little bit more had I sold it, but just with the situation I was in, traded it in for $18,500, which was around 60% of its overall value. Even in today's market, that's pretty awesome to see. Not a lot of vehicles can retain that much value for the age and the mileage of the vehicle. So moving on to the truck you see behind me, this is my 2017. I bought this truck brand new as well. It was around $34,000. I have around 35,000 miles on it right now. And if I were to sell this truck right now, I could probably get around 34, maybe a little bit more with all the mods that I have on the truck. Now, I'm not going to recoup all of the money that I spent on these mods, which is a whole nother topic, but I would probably get around 34 for it. If I put it back to stock, I could probably sell it for what I paid for it and not really lose all that much. So again, that's awesome to see. I am not selling this truck though, because to me it's irreplaceable with everything that I have into this truck. I just couldn't do it again. I'd have to spend more money on another truck to get it this way. So I absolutely love the Tacomas. It's a great truck. The third one that I want to mention is actually a truck I'm driving later today. So I'll have that video down in the description below. It's a 2017 TRD Sport. It has around 70,000 miles on it, and it's being listed for around $31,000, which is crazy to see. Buying my truck brand new for 34, buying a used one with a 6-speed manual, so it's a little bit different, for around 30, 31. So that's the market for the Tacomas. It's just crazy to see what you can buy brand new, what you can buy used. It depends on the region that you're in, the dealer that you're dealing with, of course. So buying one brand new versus buying used, what do you do when there are so many great options available? So let's start with the used market for the Toyota Tacomas. Now, briefly just talking about why I bought my Tacoma brand new. At the time in 2017, I was finding used ones for around $2,000 less than buying mine brand new. So at the time, it made sense to spend $2,000 more to get a brand new truck. Now, the used ones that I was finding had around 10,000 miles on them, and of course mine had 6 on it, so that was kind of a no-brainer. I got a few more features, spending $2,000 more, so to me, that was definitely worth it. Now, in today's market, that might be a little bit different, but I wanted to compare the first, second, and third gen Tacomas, and I'm comparing them with around 35,000 miles, just like my truck has on it now. So starting with the first gen Tacomas, you can find those for around $15,000 to $20,000 with, again, around 35,000 miles on them. Second gen Tacomas are going to be around $23,000, give or take just a little bit. And then third gens you can find anywhere between $30,000 and even $35,000, $36,000. So it's really crazy to see how well all of the generations of the Tacoma hold their value over the years. You can find some first gens in really great shape. They may have a lot more miles on them, but $20,000, $23,000 I think is still expensive even for a first gen, but the demand is there. Tacomas are incredibly popular. You can find them pretty much everywhere. And even on the used market, you're gonna be paying a premium for this truck simply because it's a Toyota Tacoma. Let's go places, let's drive a Tacoma. I think it's one of the best trucks, and it really shows with the supply and the demand of how expensive these trucks are. But at the same time, as you can see with some of these examples, they hold their value incredibly well. So if you're going to plan on getting a Tacoma, just know that you're really not going to lose all that much on it, and you could probably even sell it for what you paid for it. The problem is, once you go to sell that truck, it might be hard to get into another one, especially for me with my truck here. If I sell this and I want another TRD off-road, like that's the trim level that I love on the Tacoma, I'm simply just not going to be able to do this because I'm going to have to spend more money for a new one or even more money for a used one, depending on what I find. and to me it's just not replaceable. So the market for Tacomas is pretty crazy, and the fact that you can buy some awesome used ones and pretty much hit the depreciation of those trucks is really awesome to see, especially with what you can get for that kind of money. Talking about brand new Tacomas now, so I am basing this video off of my TRD off-road, of course, and so finding a brand new TRD off-road, I'd be looking to spend around $34,000 to $53,000. Now, of course, that's probably not what you're going to actually pay, depending on incentives and discounts. 53 grand seems pretty steep, but I have seen TRD off-roads listed for that price, which is crazy to me because the TRD Pro is one step above this, and I don't even think they're listed that high. So just depending on the region, state that you're in, and what dealers are listing these for, kind of just depends on the supply and the demand if they're in that higher price range. So as you heard me say, I could get them anywhere between 34 and 53. I paid 34 for my truck, so technically I could probably get into a 21 for 34 grand, but I'm still going to lose money with either trade-in, selling it, trying to put this back to stock and put all those parts on a 21. It just wouldn't make sense to me. However, if this is your first Tacoma that you're looking at and you can get one for that price, if that's something that you can afford, I would say go for it, because you know it's going to hold most of its value. You may lose a little bit of money, of course, buying brand new versus used, but as you can see, the market for these, it varies a whole lot. I even found a 21 TRD off-road with 6,000 miles on it listed for $38,000. So obviously that owner probably paid $38, $40 for it, and they're selling it for a premium just because of the supply and the demand and where they're located. So if you have the money, you want to buy a brand new one, you want to spec it out, go for it. If you want to buy a used one, you know, there's maybe not a lot in your area and you really don't have a choice, you can find a great used one for a good value, and you know that you'll be able to sell it for probably what you paid for it if it's something that you want to sell in the future. Now for me, the reason that I went brand new, aside from finding mine for 2 grand more than used ones, is I'm probably not going to sell this truck. I know a lot of you guys enjoy this. I enjoy it. It's my second one, as I mentioned earlier in this video. But honestly, this is probably why I'm not going to get rid of it, because I can't replace it with everything that I have into this truck. And as I mentioned already earlier, this is one of the best mid-size trucks in my opinion, and I don't think I'm going to sell it at all. So that's why I went brand new. Of course, everyone is going to have a different opinion on that, whether you're buying new or used. Of course, you can buy a used one and never sell it at the same time. So it is crazy to see, with a little bit of research, you can find used ones for a great price, you can find new ones for a great price, you can find used ones that might be a little bit overpriced, more expensive than new ones. You can find new ones that are cheaper than used ones. It's just crazy to see the market for the Tacoma and where everything is. So comment down below, what do you guys think? Should you buy a used Tacoma, or should you just go ahead and buy a brand new Tacoma? And let me know if you are interested in a Tacoma. I have plenty of videos on my 3rd gen Tacoma, so if you want to see ownership experience, different mods and everything like that, definitely check out those videos. I'll have a few down in the description below. And so the last thing that I wanted to talk about in today's video is a little bit off topic of buying a new versus used Tacoma. However, earlier I stated you could find at least the TRD off-road between $34,000 and $53,000. So if you're buying a TRD off-road, a TRD Pro, and you're up in that upper $40,000 range, I've seen a lot of comments with, why not just go ahead and step up to a full-size truck? And so I just want to briefly touch on that. Yes, you are spending a lot of money for a mid-size truck and you're dipping into that full-size price range. However, at that price range, you can buy a fully loaded mid-size truck, or you're talking about a base model full-size truck. So it really just depends on your needs. Personally, I would spend this money all day long on a mid-size truck because of what I use this truck for. Over the last 35,000 miles, I've really only towed 2 or 3 times with it, so I don't need a full-size truck for towing capabilities, and I love taking this off-road. So I love going on trails. I need a smaller truck to maneuver through the trails compared to a full-size truck that just might be a little bit too big. So again, it depends on what you need. I don't need that much space for the back seats. It is a little bit tight compared to a full-size truck, but if you're going for that full-size truck, maybe you need a little bit more space, you have kids, you need to tow a little bit more. So it just depends on your needs. Yes, it's a lot of money for a mid-size truck, but at the same time, as you've heard in today's video, it's worth it. They hold their value incredibly well, maybe compared to even some of the full-size trucks out there, like the F-150, the Tundra, the Silverados, trucks like that. They may not hold their value as well, which may or may not be a concern for you if you're looking for that larger truck. but at least on the 3rd gen Tacoma, they hold their value incredibly well, and I definitely think it's worth the price. That's gonna wrap it up for talking about the Toyota Tacoma. So comment down below, let me know if you think you should buy a used one, a new one. If you're looking for another truck, which one do you think you should get and why? Personally, I think they're kind of all over the place with buying used versus buying new and their prices. In 2017, it was a no-brainer. Today, I'm seeing a lot of used ones that are even costing more than brand new ones that you can drive right off the lot. So the market has definitely changed in the last 3 years, and the Tacomas are incredibly popular. There's a huge demand for these trucks, which is why they're that expensive. I've seen a lot of people comment, why is the Tacoma so expensive? Well, the demand is very high, which of course increases the price, but at the same time, these trucks hold that value incredibly well. So if you're buying new, if you're buying used, you're really not going to lose all that much. And for this mid-size truck, I think it's the best in its class as far as resale value. So compared to Nissan, Ford, and even Chevy, this is going to hold the most out of all of those trucks. So you're definitely not going to be disappointed buying a Toyota Tacoma. But I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Give it a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Consider smashing that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on our daily uploads. I'll see you guys in the next video.